Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a look at some questions involving problem solving with probability. So for this first question, we've got that there are 28 sweets in a bag, 17 of the sweets are red, the rest of the sweets are blue. One of the sweets is then taken at random. We need to find the probability that the sweet is blue. So in most cases, when we're working with questions like these, we can express our probability as a fraction. So to find the probability that the sweet taken is blue, first we need to find out how many blue sweets are actually in the bag. Well, we're initially told there are 28 sweets in total, and 17 of them are red. So to figure out the number of blue sweets, I'm going to take the total, which is 28, and I'm going to subtract the ones that are red. So we're going to take away this 17. So we'd have 8 take away 7, which gives us 1, and then 2 take away 1, which gives us 1. So we now know that there are 11 blue sweets. So for our probability that we pick a blue sweet, we know that the numerator is the number of successful outcomes, which in this question is how many blue sweets are there, which we now know there is 11. And that's simply going to go over the total number of outcomes. Well, there are 28 sweets in total, so it's going to be out of 28. So we've got 11 over 28. We can't simplify that any further, so our probability that the sweet taken is blue is 11/28. Okay, for this next question, we have that there are 30 pens in a box, 13 of the pens are red, 10 of the pens are blue, the rest of the pens are green. One of the pens is then chosen at random. We need to find the probability that the pen is green. So again, to find the probability, we first need to find out how many green pens there actually are in the box. So we're told how many red and blue pens there are. We're then told the rest are green. So we know that there are 13 red pens and there are 10 blue pens. So I'm going to add these together and that's simply going to give me 23. It then says the rest are green. So what we're going to do now is take this away from the total. So there are 30 pens in total. When we take away this 23, that's going to leave us with 7. So there are 7 green pens. So to find the probability that the pen is green, our probability of picking a green pen is going to be the number of green pens, which is 7, over the total number of pens, which is 30. So we can't simplify this fraction any further, so the probability of picking a green pen out of the box is 7/30. Okay, for this next question, we have a raffle is being held to win a prize. Jamie buys 12 tickets. A total of 250 tickets are sold. We need to find the probability that Jamie does not win the prize. So we know that if Jamie buys 12 tickets and there were 250 tickets sold in total, then Jamie's probability of winning is actually 12 over 250. So now, how do we figure out the probability that Jamie does not win? Well, there's only two possibilities for Jamie. He can either win or not win. So those are the only two outcomes. So that means that the total probabilities would add up to 1. So to figure out the probability that he doesn't win, we're simply going to do 1 take away the probability that he does win, which we've just said is 12 over 250. So because now I'm subtracting a fraction, I can write this 1 also as a fraction with a common denominator. So for a common denominator of 250, 1 is equivalent to 250 over 250. So we're still taking away this 12 over 250. So now we're subtracting fractions. The denominator is going to stay the same. So I'm still going to have 250 on the bottom. I'm simply then going to subtract the numerators. So we do 250, take away 12. That's going to give us 238. So the probability of Jamie not winning is 238 over 250. We can simplify this fraction though. We can divide the numerator and denominator both by 2. So if we do 238 divided by 2, that's going to give us 119. And then 250 divided by 2, would give us 125. And that would be our answer to this question. And we can simply see here that there were 12 tickets that Jamie bought where he had the chance to win. So that means there was 238 tickets where he wouldn't win. Okay, let's take a look at our final question. So for our final question, we have that there are some counters in a bag. The table shows the number of counters of each colour. So we have 2 red counters, 3 blue, 7 green, and 4 yellow. A counter is taken at random from the bag. For part A, we need to write down the probability that the counter is green. So to figure out that the probability that the counter is green, all we're going to do is simply take the number of green counters, which in this question is 7, and we're going to put that over the total number of counters. So we need to add them all up. Well, if we do 2 add 3, that gives us 5. Add on the 7 gives us 12. Finally, add on the 4, that's going to give us 16. So our denominator would be 16. We can't simplify that any further, so the probability of picking a green counter would be 7/16. And for part B to this question, we want to write down the probability that the counter is not blue. So just like the previous question, we can actually figure out the probability of the counter being blue first. So to do this, all we're going to do is look at the table. We want to see how many blue counters there are. Well, there are 3 blue counters, so that's going to go on our numerator over the total, which we've just figured out to be 16. So if our probability of picking a blue counter is 3/16, the probability that is not blue is going to be everything else. So again, probabilities always add up to 1. So the probability of the counter not being blue is simply going to be 1 take away this 3/16. Well, we want a common denominator, so we can express 1 as 16 over 16, take away 3/16. So if we do that, the denominator is going to remain the same as 16. So we're then going to do 16 take away 3, which leaves us with 13. So we can see here our probability of the counter not being blue is 13/16. As this 13 is just the total of the other counters which aren't blue. As if we do 2 add 7, that gives us 9. Add on the 4, that gives us 13. So well done if you followed along with those questions, and that's it for this video. If you want to check out any other videos on working with probability, then I'll leave some links for them down in the description, and I've also put a card in the top corner, so feel free to check them out. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing. If there are any topics at all that you'd like me to go through next, then please just let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to make some videos on those topics as soon as possible. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.